Okay.
Okay.
Welcome
to
Cousin
Closet. I'm Emily.
I'm Maddy.
And today we've got some good stuff for you.
We're back.
We're back, baby.
Thank you to everyone who tuned in last week. I'm just going to start off by saying, yesterday, I was laying in bed and my alarm went off, and I'm trying something new where when my first alarm goes off, I take my Adderall right away so that I will not stay asleep forever if I fall back asleep. So I've been doing that. It's been working really well. Yesterday, I was in the process of the sleep post Adderall where I'm waiting until it kicks in.
Yes.
And I'm snoozing. In this haze, I hear this loud noise and I'm like, what is going on? It sounds like construction outside against the wall. And I can't see out the window, one, because I don't want to sit up and look, and two, because there's a wall there.
And you'll hit your head.
And I'll hit my head. It sounded like somebody was drilling into the side of the house. And I just accepted that as what it was and was going to find out later. Annoyed, but like, okay, I have to get up anyway. And I just hear this, really loud. It happens and then it goes away, and then it happens and then it goes away. And I'm like, what is going on? It happens again, and I do eventually sit up this time to get out of bed. And what do I see? My vibrator wedged between the bunk bed and the wall, turned on, and making the most god-awful drilling sound that I have ever heard. And I realized there was no construction happening outside of the house. I had just let my vibrator slip to the cracks, and it turned itself on. So,
did Bev say anything?
No. I don't even know if she was here.
Bev's just in the kitchen like, I can't find the construction, and that's all I hear.
Either she was still asleep in her room, she wasn't here, or she didn't say anything.
Yeah.
I also don't even know if she would know what a vibrator sounds like.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's my laundry list update. I have nothing else to say.
I did not know where you were going with that story, and
I didn't either when it was happening.
Took the turn that was just immaculate, and thank you. Thank you so much for
keep
sharing.
track of your vibrators, people.
Yeah, really.
Do you want to give us an update on the Hinge guy at all? How about this? You just can give us one sentence. We don't need to dig into it too much.
Okay, I could say a sentence, but I also feel like I'm going to try this new concept that I haven't given a whirl yet, and that's called privacy.
One's tough.
It is, especially as a neurodivergent woman. So I will just say I'm having a good time, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay. Did you see him? Have you had any dates?
I've had 2, and they were fun.
Okay.
They were really fun. So, you
Proud
know
of
what?
you.
The good news is this girl's back on the dating scene, you know?
She's back out there, and she's thriving.
Honestly, my confidence is
so good on your dates.
Thank you. I felt good.
I'm still mad that I didn't pull a Raven and dress up as a janitor to be there.
Yes.
You know,
Excuse me. I'm so sad that you didn't
Are you too done
schedule
with
a flight.
Are you too done with those garbage bags? Tip my hat to you.
I need to
a little
rewatch some of those episodes, because That's So Raven was my favorite show growing up, and the amount of phrases that I
you nasty.
I was just gonna say it. And now that I realize that I was literally like mimicking a Black woman with all of these,
God.
Yeah, it's not good. No.
And I just did it. I might have to cut this. I was just,
please no.
It's like one day we're gonna have to give people a taste of what echolalia is, and what it is basically just having to say everything that you think.
Oh my God. And I really struggle with it. But the thing is that what I've recognized when going out on back on the dating scene is that I do say everything that I'm thinking, but I also have another neurodivergent trait where I combine 3 phrases and put them into one.
Mm-hmm. That has a name.
Wishing that I could think of an example right now. I can't.
There was one you said on the phone yesterday where you just stopped halfway through because you couldn't remember what came next.
I think yesterday I was trying to say departed, and I said deported, but then I also merged it with another word.
We're here gathering around our dearly deported. That hits too close.
I know. I think it was too fresh in my mind.
Yeah, it's tough. Today, my mom yells up from downstairs, Maddy, do you want to sign the petition to get the ICE detention center out of West Valley? And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
obviously, I want to. And then we spent a few minutes yelling back and forth from upstairs, downstairs about how ridiculous it is. Yeah, God
I
bless
love your mom.
Bev. Such a good heart.
Yes, I love this. I have a lot to unpack today, and so I want to get into it.
Should we do our outfits real quick?
I'm going to start, and I'm just going to say that I decided for the Luck of the Irish theme that we decided on last week, I'm just going to be a cute little pot of gold.
Oh, I love that. So you went with chart instead?
I'm sorry? This is not
Chartreuse.
I heard shart.
Yeah, I shortened it.
Yes, but I feel like that is a little mean because, someone could call this a diarrhea
color?
green. Here's the thing. Call this chartreuse, you're immediately my friend. Call this mustard. I don't ever want to speak to
That's
you
not
ever again.
mustard.
Thank you.
That's not mustard.
So
that is
for
chartreuse.
those that are listening, I am wearing a specifically chartreuse. If you need to, look it up. It's a silky, satiny tank top, spaghetti straps. With a little slinky, sexy top with
shimmy.
you missed that if you're listening.
Yeah, if you're not watching this, you're missing all of our shimmies.
Yeah, dial in right now for these A cups.
Someone's like, do you have a cup of water? And you're like, I have a cup. In fact, I have two.
I should have peed before this episode. We'll talk about that. I got bladder control issues.
All right, little pot of gold. Continue, please.
Okay, listen, I am also wearing a chartreuse blazer that I have had since my Nordstrom days. It's my go-to and I love it. And I'm wearing these pinstriped brown slacks. This is where the pot comes into the pot of gold.
The pants are holding you up. The pants contain
In theory,
multitudes.
actually, if I were to untie these bad boys, they are triple the size of my body, and
There are a
they're
lot of
holding on
safety
for dear
pins
life.
going on right now with my outfit. So
That's so fair. And I'm going to try and throw a leg up because classic Target
white booties.
white booties that are a staple in my closet. And also
White booty, which also is what our family calls you.
white booty. All these years you guys have been calling that behind my back.
Like, has anyone seen White Booty? Oh, she's driving me insane.
No, but they call me Snoop Dogg, so.
Coming at ya.
Also, last but not least, I have some. God, these headphones really, really just fuck
Cover
with the
your
aesthetic.
earrings.
Yeah, I'm wearing these
Yeah.
cute gold hoops, and then I'm wearing my classic necklace that I wear every day, and then this like thicker gold jewelry that makes me think of BJ, our grandma.
Totally.
So, shout out.
You look
I'm
beautiful.
not gonna shout out anyone because
Because you be shouting out too much?
because I'd
why?
be shouting out too much. So maybe we should do like a little Easter egg hunt with every episode that we ask our listeners to find my
Hey. Easter's coming up.
perfect.
Perfect.
Okay, so we're gonna find my hyper focused. What do we call it? Like my
It's like your
fixation, my
verbal
word
tick.
fixation. It's a verbal tick. I pick a phrase or a word and then I say it several times per episode. So I'm still learning what this episode is going to be.
Mine is totally.
Yeah, you do that.
Totally.
I do have some variety per
Yeah.
episode,
Yeah.
but not individual to the episode. I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm intrigued.
So I want to start by saying that after I got all dressed and ready, I was like, well, fuck, I've been thinking of Scottish this whole time. Aesthetically. And so then I was like,
I see it.
I was doing a little Googling, like, wait, is plaid actually Irish or is it exclusively Scottish? It is also Irish, but it's pretty exclusively Scottish. But you know what?
You went with
this
it.
far.
Yeah.
So I actually borrowed this. It's a green plaid maxi skirt with red and yellow accents. It's my sister's, but I hiked it up like a tube top and I fastened it with a little silver and brass bow brooch. And the fun part is, underneath the skirt that I made a dress, I layered this green tutu petticoat type delicious skirt that I thrifted at a Brooklyn farmer's market maybe the year before last. I had to buy it. Nothing like being on a vacation where you packed so tightly and then you have to bring home an entire clown tutu. But it was worth
that
it.
happens.
Totally, it's the worst. So I layered the two. It's very swishy, swashy. You'll see on our outfit video. To finish it off, trying not to show my coochie, I'm wearing
Show it off,
these
girl.
calf-length lime green, snakeskin-ish, pointy toe heeled boots with black stockings. I thrifted these a couple of months ago with my sister, and I officially traded these out for my old lime green go-go boots, and these are my new go-to green boots.
I'm not gonna lie, I wish you could send those over my way because they are very cute. I will say I think I've sworn off heels, but I guess I'm wearing them right now. But they're very, like, they're kitten-esque heels.
And I belted this cutie because when I didn't, I looked like, okay, growing up, I did modern dance, and our studio did the Nutcracker every single year, and it was like 4 hours long. And at the end, there was this one dance where this lady had like a big ass skirt, and then a whole bunch of kids came out from under it. And that's what I looked like without the belt on. Yeah.
Okay,
So
so it was a must.
little tiny braid crown. I tried to learn how to do a Celtic knot, but I almost immediately felt so activated by how hard it was that I just said, no one's going to see the back of my head unless I let them. So that's my outfit. The luck of the Scottish.
The look of the Scottish. I'm not mad at it. And honestly, I feel like I need to give some context. I don't really feel like I put my heart and soul into this outfit because I had to do clinic earlier today. So I just was running around, and that's my reality.
It looks really good though.
Thank you. It came out better than I thought, but I do feel like I don't feel as cute as I wanted to. But that's okay.
Hey, you win some, you lose some.
It's
I
true.
want to say this. I just have 3 quick things to bullet points. 1,
Okay.
I'm finally in my follicular phase. I
Fuck
feel
yeah.
human again, and that was some of the worst perpetual PMS that I've ever been in. 2, happy Zodiacal New Year. Happy Aries season. This episode will be airing on the 20th, which is Aries season. We're starting the Zodiac over again. So happy actual New Year. And 3, Mercury's out of retrograde, bitch.
Fuck yes. We're just going to celebrate any type of New Year on this podcast.
All of
I think
them.
this is our 3rd. So
Absolutely.
we don't discriminate against New Year's. And according to you, we're still not starting until July. So really
No, I didn't
looking
say we're
forward
starting.
to
I
it.
said we're gonna jive.
Peak.
But
We're going to
I don't know,
jive.
because that girl you talked to said that she thinks the world's gonna end
It's true. I
around
have
the
2
same
conflicting
time.
astrologists in my life, and it's polar opposites. So,
You know, glass half full, glass half empty, whatever.
yeah, I appreciate that. You are the optimistic one of the 2. I think I'm going to
Lean
go
into
along
it.
with your predictions.
We have to. We're ruled by Jupiter after all.
So true. Still grappling with that.
You know what? Grapple, bitch. Today Emily's gonna take us through some things that she has spent so much time deep diving on, not just for this episode, but throughout life. As we said last week, they introduced us to the chaos of our minds, and she's now gonna take us into our bodies a little bit more.
Yeah.
Will we be able to cover everything? No, because we're yapster dogs, and we're never gonna be able to cover everything in one conversation.
Totally.
Will this be informative and a silly little good time? Yeah, girl.
We're hoping. I'm going to be honest. I think I learned through Maddy and how your brain operates and how my brain operates that I didn't really prep for this, because this is actually, like Maddy said, her hyperfixation is like autism, learning about neurodivergence. Mine has always been the body. I'm going to be honest. I started having hives when I was like 3 months old.
So you started life in hives.
I really didn't have a fighting chance. Yeah, I had an allergic reaction to dairy. That one's still going strong. I also feel like, you know, throughout my life, if we're just kind of going to hit some really just large bullet points of how I was doing throughout my childhood, I began having anaphylaxis at the ripe age of 10 when I had carrots, unfortunately.
Carrots were my first, like, enemy of yours that I knew of.
Mine too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I couldn't hold that one back. Everything else,
Fuck you,
emotionally, I
carrots,
suppressed,
swear
but
to God, if you get anywhere near my cousin, I'm gonna demolish you.
everything else, emotionally, I suppressed. But also, and I'm going to get into this, but when I was a junior in high school, my system, my body, really decided to get a disease that usually only impacts the elderly, and it's called C. diff.
If there was a sentence to describe you, it's I got the thing that is only supposed to impact old people.
No, genuinely. I got it 2 weeks before my sister's wedding. Yeah, I lost 9 pounds and I didn't have an ounce to lose.
I'm gonna go ahead and
was
say
a small girl.
She was nonstop shitting her brains out.
Oh,
for
yeah.
days on end.
Look it up. Literally, anytime I tell a nurse that I had C. diff, it's like they take a moment of silence for me.
They're like, "Brr, brr, brr." Yeah, she had to miss her sister's bachelorette party and everyone thought she was faking it, but she really wasn't. She just was like literally shitting nonstop. Oh, I wish I
And
could go give her a hug from far away.
Yes, that is a great kind of segue into the difficulty of chronic illness, because I feel like if you're someone that resonates with chronic illness, or just even not even giving it that term, but just kind of feel unwell, but a lot of these things aren't like acutely shown, there is this huge missing piece that I feel like people don't think about, how much it actually impacts you on like an emotional level of feeling like gaslit. I genuinely feel like I have been so unwell my whole entire life, and I honestly think that C. diff was the thing that truly like
shook you into your body.
Yes, because after I got C. diff, I went into college and I was just like, I couldn't eat anything without getting a stomach ache. I started having really bad, it wasn't even like period pain. Like I was really fit, honestly. Like I played volleyball my whole life.
You were a marathoner.
I was a marathoner when I was a freshman in college, and I didn't get the freshman 15. I actually probably did, but I got it in muscle. Like I went to the gym all the time.
Yeah,
I weightlifted. I was so buff, and it was something that I loved. Like I was really proud of the way that like my body could operate, and like it was part of like my well-being because I had played sports my whole life. I think it was like important for me to have like that routine.
Meanwhile, I ran a half marathon and I broke my foot the week before I completed the race and have never been able to run since.
Listen, here's my thing is that Maddie's going to diagnose me with neurodivergence, and I'm going to send it right back to her, and I'm going to diagnose her with a bunch of different ailments in her body.
You've been diagnosed.
Yeah. Also,
Dr. Mimi has been in the chair and you are practically prescribed.
Unfortunately, don't talk to me unless you want a diagnosis.
Honestly, same.
Because it's really hard for me to hold back. And it comes out of love, because a lot of the ailments that I'm going to talk about, I'll just throw out one of them, endometriosis. That is one that takes about 8 to 10 years on average to get diagnosed. If you're unfamiliar with endometriosis, it's actually where the endometrial tissue that's inside the uterus. Also, context, not a doctor, so I might slip on a few things. But
wait, you've been lying to me this whole time?
Yeah, my sister's the doctor. I'm not. So if I misspeak, my intent with this podcast is just to get people thinking about either they know someone, it's them, they've experienced it, they've never even heard of some of these things, and they might identify or know someone that does. I feel like I live from a point of curiosity. So like, if I can get people curious of people that have had these ailments, pains, that have been gaslit, or they've gaslit themselves, because it's, I mean, we live in a society where it's so easy to be like, oh, this always hurts, but I suppress it because no one knows what's happening.
Totally.
So that's kind of my reasoning for wanting to talk about everything that I am dealing with. So endometriosis is an inflammatory condition where your endometrial tissue grows outside of the uterus. It's actually been found on every single organ within the body. And honestly, we don't give women's healthcare enough attention, and endometriosis presents itself very similar to cancer. And there's actually some people that are arguing that it should be actually in like medical science be depicted and diagnosed as a form of cancer. It's just, the thing is that it's not terminal. So really, all of these women are living in a state of chronic pain where the diagnosis is only through laparoscopic surgery. Like you don't have a way of confirming that you have endometriosis until you actually go under a knife.
Which is absolutely insane that it is 2026, that we have the technology that we do, that people are trying to convince us to get brain chips put in, yet we can't get a firm understanding of whether or not we have endometriosis. That's insane. Without surgery, pisses me off.
Yeah, and I've seen actually that there are some researchers that have found that there's potentially like a blood test where they can test your period blood for endometrial markers.
Well,
but
good. I'm going to start
honestly,
bottling it up.
That's going to take years though for it to be actually put on the market, covered by insurance. Also, surgery for a true endometriosis surgeon is not covered by insurance because it's seen as a luxury versus like a need in terms of treatment. So that's
I
really fun.
just simply hate it here. Not with you, just
No,
in the
I love
system.
it here with you, but yes, it is really frustrating. And honestly, I mean, we can talk about the US, obviously our own healthcare system, but I follow a lot of people that advocate for endometriosis globally, and it's a global issue. They say 1 in 10 women actually have endometriosis, but
Mhm.
suspected that it's actually 1 in 7 because of the fact that a lot of times surgery is not something that people can actually get.
Totally. So many people who I'm sure are never diagnosed and just live with chronic pain, with
Yeah.
this like exhaustion, with
Yeah.
the way it affects your mood. Speaking of which, I have to take my belt off because I endo belly.
Yeah. So I'll kind of run into symptoms with endometriosis. So my sister had a miscarriage, and because she's a nurse practitioner, she has obviously like that insider knowledge that she was able to kind of find some resources. She went through with surgery, finding out that she had stage 3 endometriosis, I believe. When you have a sibling that has endometriosis, you are 7 times more likely to have it. My journey to get the surgery was a little bit longer because the first time I had gone in, the surgeon was like, it's a 75% chance you have endometriosis. And I couldn't take that chance of like going under the knife and having 25% chance that they were going to be like, we didn't find anything. Like that to me, that was
Totally.
just so nerve wracking.
Also expensive. Not only are you having
Yeah.
a surgery where someone
I'm
is
trying to think of how much
cutting you
just so that
open,
I can. I mean, it really depends, but I want to say it was like 6 to 9 grand or something like that. I can't remember.
I just start
Because honestly,
disassociating.
the insurance agents literally call you as you're recovering. So you're literally drugged up. And I had to like fill out paperwork for my company that I was working with at the time for me to be able to get like medical leave and all of this stuff. It's just a fucked up situation. But I
Totally.
digress. What I wanted to talk about with the symptoms of endometriosis. So it's really across the board, and obviously it's going to depend on kind of where you have it located in the body and the stage that you have. But for me, it was a lot of bloating is like the number one thing. So like Maddie, wearing tight pants, honestly drinking water, and I literally look like I'm 5 months pregnant. So like super fun. Obviously for a lot of people, the most common thing, and a lot of people that don't know about this disease, they would be like, oh, period pain, which yes, it's super common, but there's a lot of things outside of that. Now my period pain was so bad that I'd have to submerge myself in a bath for 2 days and I really couldn't stand up straight.
Before I was on antidepressants, I used to not be able to grip my steering wheel for like the 10 days leading up to my period because everything about me was activated, in pain, inflamed, all of it.
Yeah. And I'm going to put a pin in that piece because I want to come back to it. And I know I've touched on it in a previous episode, but that is kind of the hypermobility piece that I want to talk about. Another thing, pain during intercourse. Honestly, we have like a symptom within our family that like literally we feel it like in like our rectum area, like it's like shooting pain. Like, I mean,
Don't get me
because you
started.
think about your pelvic floor and it is interconnected with so many things. I had sciatica when I was running, and I think that that might have been triggered by some of my endometriosis.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard because now I have a few diagnoses under my belt. So it's always hard to kind of understand like
What is what?
what's driving what. Endometriosis, and again, it doesn't get a lot of research. Unfortunately, there's some articles out there, but not a ton. And what's really defeating is that obviously, if you have endometriosis and you are in a partnership, it's any chronic illness is going to impact your partner. But for the credited scientific articles to be more targeted for how this disease impacts a man in a relationship versus the woman who's actually, in
Experiencing
such
it.
significant pain is just really defeating,
Yeah.
as you go through this disease. I've seen a lot of doctors throughout my whole journey of my health, and I don't want to knock Western medicine because of the fact that, like, I know that there's a time and a place. I think that there's some great doctors out there that have a Western approach, that they are curious. I mean, I had surgery, that's very much more like a Western focus, but I will say a lot of the relief that I would have been able to find is through like acupuncture, through functional medicine. I recently saw a functional medicine doctor.
I'm sorry, what defines functional medicine? It's like holistic medicine?
Yeah, so functional medicine, I would say like their brand is more so they want to focus on getting to the root cause, where for years, I think Western medicine has been more treating symptoms, which don't get me wrong. I mean, when you're in pain and you need to get your symptom to have relief, again, Western medicine can come in and help that relief. That's like more of an acute temporary fix. So for instance, I got surgery to endometriosis, but I do a lot of other things to maintain all of my symptoms like acupuncture. I reduce my toxic load. I don't eat gluten.
You're chugging electrolytes constantly.
Yes, exactly. I think that they can both marry well together. So this functional medicine doctor, she studies mast cell activation syndrome.
Can you tell me what
Basically,
that is? Because every time you tell me, I need another
I know.
descriptor.
And I feel like I might butcher this one as well. Again, I think I have this insecurity that I am not a doctor, but I also feel this passion that I've lived it and I've experienced it.
100%.
It's where your mast cells, which are your body's immune response, are overactive and basically attacking your own body. She has a theory that I don't believe has like been accredited or proven through like medical research, but she believes that mast cell, it's also called MCAS, drives endometriosis. So it is like the root cause of endometriosis. So a lot of times if you have endometriosis, you might be dealing with more of a root cause of a mast cell activation syndrome.
So you're telling me, I'm picturing right now Osmosis Jones fighting all of my... You've seen Osmosis Jones, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my God. Basically, a camera goes inside of Bill Murray and there's an animated world in there and all of the cells are people. But I'm picturing all of the defense cells getting attacked in my butthole, waking me up from my sleep with the most excruciating sharp knife pains I've ever felt. Is that right?
I mean, theoretically, yeah.
Totally. Okay.
I welcome any theory. Like I will entertain a lot of things.
I trust a theory more than I do like a solid
fact.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Welcome to our podcast.
Boots off.
With chronic illness, you get to a point where you're going to try everything and anything because you're just so desperate for relief and you're so sick and tired of being gaslit.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember I was so desperate. I went to a rheumatologist when I was 24 because I was having so much pain. This was at the tail end of, I was trying to train for my 4th marathon. And when I tell you that I was having sciatica, I was having this horrible tailbone pain so bad I was calling Brett, your dad, and I was literally like, why do I have this pain? I could not get to the root of it. No PT could like figure out what was happening. I was having this pain with cardio that anytime I exerted myself past a certain level, like anytime I was just doing like a really like big push on like any type of cardio, I would get such a bad pain in my pelvic area. Like think where you would get cramps.
Like a dull pain?
No, like sharp, intense, I'm going to throw up. I'm in the fetal position. I need to lay there in the fetal position for about 20 minutes and then I stand up and it's like nothing happened. Still to this day, I think that the driver for that is and was endometriosis. Unfortunately, I've really had to put a pause in my exercise and I laugh, but honestly, that was one of the hardest things about being chronically ill is going from playing volleyball, from running marathons to I now lift 3-pound weights 3 times a week in like a cute little joint stability routine. I'm going to give my body a little bit more credit. I have worked really, really hard and I am in massage school and that is rigorous on your body. And I'm doing a lot of things to make sure that my body is able to keep that up.
You also walk your dog all the time.
Oh, I walk my dog all the time. Walking is amazing. I also played volleyball yesterday for the first time in 6 to 8 years.
Was it fun?
It was so much fun. Peppered with
body?
my friend Lorraine, and she played in college. And I actually I hung in there, and I was really proud of myself. And she actually invited me to do like a doubles league, and I don't know if I'm ready to commit to that yet, but I will say like my confidence, I think in my body's ability has been increasing. And I say that because for anyone out there, whatever your chronic illness journey is, or again, if you have someone in your life, I really do believe that the mindset of it's going to get better is like a crucial element to getting better. And I also want to state I come from a place of privilege where I understand that I have been able to spend spend a lot of money and time and resources into trying to heal my body, and it's a passion of mine. So it's something that doesn't feel as much of a cost to me in terms of time, because it's honestly something that the population that I want to work on with the modalities that I'm learning on in massage school is people with chronic illness, because of the fact that I feel like I have that space and heart for that. So we have endometriosis that we touched on. We have mast cell activation that we touched on. I want to go back to what you had said when you were on your period and you were gripping the steering wheel and you were having so much pain. So what's sad is that a lot of these ailments actually come in like a cute little group, you know? So like it's not
You
like
get
you
one, you
have
get them all.
one, you have like
gotta
several
catch
friends.
'em all and don't
Yeah.
meet.
They just you're magnetic, baby, and you got them all. And
Woo!
so I've got several and can't wait to continue to share more.
And they are a lot of the times genetic, right?
So,
or is it kind of
I don't
not
think
known?
that they know. I think that there's an element of genetics. So with hypermobility is basically when the tissue and the ligaments, like your connective tissue in your body, is hypermobile. So you are overstretched. That means that you can be super flexible, but you can also lack
Like
support
this?
in your joints. Yes. So that
I'm
is
folding my hand all the way
hypermobility
backwards.
for those that need to see it. The way that I present with hypermobility is I think that my joints overprotect themselves. So I'm actually not flexible whatsoever. I'm super stiff. I have a lot of pain in my joints because of the fact that I think my body is like, we're holding you up.
In survival mode,
everyone.
almost.
No.
Like, we must calcify so that we will stand strong.
Yeah, and you say survival mode, and my mindset immediately goes to nervous system regulation, which actually, as I've learned through all of these things, I genuinely feel in my bones that nervous system regulation is the key for all of these ailments. And I want to be very mindful when I say that, because I have been sitting in a doctor's chair where they just are like, you need to stress out less, and fuck right off, because that's
Try exercising a little more and
no, yeah, exactly.
take a few deep breaths.
Totally. I mean, I think I started the story where I saw a rheumatologist when I was 24, and again, 24, where you should be like in your prime of feeling well and athleticism and all of that. And I was told to take Advil and do more yoga. And that cost me $365.
$1 a day, bitch.
I literally just wept in front of this doctor and said, this can't be normal. I don't feel well. I mean, there's been so many highs, so many lows. And as I'm coming to terms with a lot of things, it's like the highs are honestly getting a diagnosis, because if you're out there with chronic pain and you're like,
so true,
it's so wild, but like the validation that you get from getting a diagnosis, people that aren't in this, they don't understand why you would be happy when you have answers, but like at least you can do something with it. And honestly, a lot of these,
peace of mind at least.
Yeah, like, so for me, hypermobility, there's like a general spectrum of hypermobility that involves like the tissues.
Would you say your hypermobility symptoms were what led you to the rheumatologist?
Yeah, so for me, I felt just like a general sense of unwell. I had a lot of joint pain. I had a lot of back pain. I would sometimes eat and I would tell my friends and family, like, this is like the best way I could describe it. Like, I felt like syrup was coursing through my veins. Like, I just felt really woozy. And honestly, like, I had tried every type of like diet under the sun. I had tried vegan. I had tried like this anti-inflammation protocol, this autoimmune protocol. Like, I think I have tried everything. And yeah, that can also get really defeating because of the fact that, again, you know, you get this optimistic feeling when you find something of like, oh, this new practitioner or this new thing, like this could be like the thing that's actually helping me. And then oftentimes it's not, because I will be honest, it's multifaceted. It's, you know, like hydrating is not going to be the only thing that's going to help me. But if I don't hydrate, it is actually going to aggravate my symptoms as well.
Which, talk about nervous system activation, like trying to find an answer and continually being told no over and over again, or that it's too nuanced, or that there's no way to narrow it down. Like, that alone is going to keep you in a state of reaction.
Yeah. And I want to say, like, with nervous system regulation, we have so many things in this world today that are dysregulating us. And that could be from the news. That could be from our jobs.
Social
That could be
media.
from our relationships, social media. I also want to double down. So, when you have mast cell activation syndrome, your threshold for what you are digesting, maybe physically, and then also even just like
Energetically?
energetically or like through your interactions or anything like that, you have a certain threshold. I made jokes on a previous episode that my mattress is organic. There is a reason for that because when I surpass that threshold, that's when I become symptomatic. That's when my joint pain comes. That's when I get chronic hives. That is when I feel like I have
Like a
a
comfort
tightness in
threshold?
my. Say that again?
Like a comfort threshold?
Think about it like this. We all experience stress in our lives. Okay. So take chronic illness off the table.
Mhm.
When you get to a certain amount of stress, everyone has that point that kind of takes them over the edge of whether
Okay.
they're lashing out or they're feeling unwell or they got sick or they,
So with
they
mast
just,
cell, your threshold is lower than the average person's,
I mean, it's going to be person to person.
but
But
your
what I will
threshold is
say is that,
affected.
yeah, your sensitivity to what a lot of people can experience, like a lot of people can naturally process the toxins that are in their air. I have an air doctor that's sitting right next to me because of the fact that I try to mitigate how much I'm actually breathing in. That's going to
Totally.
continue to increase my toxic load and then lead to more symptoms.
That makes a lot of sense, and it's interesting how there's so much crossover too with neurodivergence. Even just
Yes.
thinking of the spectrum of it all and
Yeah.
how it's less about like, do you have this or not, black and white, and
Yeah.
more, here are the symptoms. How high are they turned up on your dial?
Yeah. So when you also think about neurodivergence, so we've talked about myself and you as well, being empathetic, being sensitive, having someone walk into the room and being able to read that energy.
It's
So
like
when you're
deeply
taking
affected
that
by life.
on, you might not be eating sugar or eating something inflammatory at that point, but you are taking something that is essentially toxic to you if you are holding on to that negative feeling and emotion. And
Mm-hmm.
that is, I mean, I don't think that there's like a set, like, oh, this is worse for you and this is worse for you. The thing is, what's so hard, and I think what's hard about getting diagnosed, and this is where I will have a lot of compassion for doctors, is that every single case, while there's like going to be overlap and similarities, every person is so unique. I mean, my best friend Mina, she and I think we were placed in each other's lives because we were like had parallel lives in terms of finding our own diagnoses. However,
Mm-hmm.
we present similarly sometimes, but the way in which we take care of ourselves and can mitigate symptoms and suppress things, it's completely different.
Totally.
And
Well, and
so
also
that,
having different nervous systems, that makes
yeah,
sense. That
exactly.
even if you have the
Different
same
childhoods,
condition, you're
different
going to
trauma.
experience and process it differently.
Yeah.
Totally.
So you asked like what causes a lot of these things. I'm honestly so in the same bucket as nervous system dysregulation. Also believe that trauma held within the body can also awaken a lot of these. I talked on the previous podcast about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
Mhm.
So I think that there's 6 like subtypes, and I think 5 out of the 6 are actually genetic. So if you go to a
Okay.
geneticist, but again, you have to go and pay a
And
ton
this
of
is
money to a geneticist.
EDS is different than hypermobility, or do they go hand in hand?
They kinda go hand in hand to my understanding. So you can
Okay.
have
I'm seeing what
hypermobility.
you mean about like the endo, but then there's mast cell. Oh, but there's also hypermobility. Oh, and there's also
So
EDS
yeah,
and 6 subtypes. Like
yeah.
it's a lot.
So also when you have hypermobility, it doesn't mean you have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. But when you have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, it probably means that you have hypermobility. At
Okay.
least, and maybe I'm being, what's the word, biased because of the fact that of the subtypes, there's a speculation that I have the one that is more hypermobile and then the one that it has no research behind it as far as having
Sweet.
any genetic marker.
Awesome. So they're just like, oh, you're sick and we don't know why.
Totally.
Okay.
I think it's trauma within the body. And again, that's why I went into body work, is because I believe heavily in the mind body connection. I don't
Hmm.
think that it's easy for anyone to heal if they're holding on what?
I was just going to say, I'm psycho, you're somatic. And together we're psychosomatic.
Yeah,
That's
we
our
got to,
band.
that's our
Continue.
band. I'm so grateful for the balance that we offer because I don't think I would have gave myself the grace or the curiosity maybe about my mind. I think I just was like, oh, I'm an empath and I'm really sensitive, and I probably would have left it at that. But
Hmm.
now the way in which I experience the world through a lens of, oh, I actually know deep down without a diagnosis that I have ADHD. I've always been this way. I've always
It's
felt,
like a resonance thing. Like, oh, finally, this makes sense. Finally, I've
yes,
found this frequency that I've been trying to grasp at my whole life that I know is not typical, but does affect
yes.
me. Which I feel similarly with the body. The more you teach me, the more I'm like, I would have never
Oh,
done this on my own.
I've had that all of my life. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Obviously, like this is a huge topic, one that we are both passionate about, and maybe like an update of like where I'm at in my journey. So I have had the endometriosis diagnosis and surgery. I have had the mast cell activation diagnosis. So actually that one is not technically diagnosed unless you go under again. You have to be in a MCAS flare for you to get a tissue sample that actually comes back positive where you have a positive MCAS diagnosis.
Okay, stressful.
I think the last big point, and again, this is probably overwhelming, especially if you resonate with this, because anyone that tells you that invisible and chronic illness is not emotional, it absolutely is. And it can be so defeating. So if you need to pause throughout this episode, I recognize that this is a lot of information. And again, a lot of it can be just theories. It's things that I've heard through my practitioners, things that I've experienced for myself. Take it as you will.
These are body thoughty starters.
Body thoughty. So I think a lot of functional medicine doctors, especially that are in the mast cell space, believe that the root cause to mast cell is actually chronic infections. And that's the driver for all of these diseases. That's why in previous episodes, I had shared that I think that people that are on the spectrum and have more of that permeability and like that empathic nature to take on other people's shit, for lack of a better word,
Yet.
I really believe that energetically, that means that you're more susceptible to take on illnesses of that same frequency. So, for instance, if you're taking on someone's guilt or shame or whatever like that, that's a very low frequency that's going to match to probably something like Lyme disease or mono, which we realize is the
Epstein
Epstein-Barr
guy.
virus.
I mean, not guy.
Nothing to do with the guy. Yeah, truly. And so many other like staph. And I'm thinking of strep. Like I grew up actually having strep a lot when I was younger. So then I got treated for strep a lot. And I think that there
Megan
is
did too, right?
definitely, yes,
So you
yes, she
both
did.
did. Okay.
And so I think that there's a correlation there. Again, a lot of this has not been maybe proven through medical research, but I think because of the fact that there's like that energetic piece, I don't know how long or if ever if we'll actually have
Solid
like
answers.
solid answers
Yeah.
about this.
Well, it's like, is this ever going to be prioritized? Probably not right away, especially with the state of society right now. Like,
Yeah.
it's not that this isn't factual or correct. It's that this is not going to be a priority because it affects primarily women.
Yeah, endometriosis impacts, I believe, only women. I think I did see something that they might have seen similar tissue in men, but I don't have a lot of research on that.
Neither do they.
There's going to be obviously different statistics as far as which gender it's going to impact, but I will say I stand behind every single one of them. The percentage is going to be larger for women than it is going to be for men.
Classic.
So, yeah. What was your question?
That is all making a lot of sense. I wanted to go back to EDS really quick. So there's endometriosis, mast cell, hypermobility, EDS. Will you give me again just like a quick synopsis of what EDS is and maybe why there are different subtypes?
I'm going to say that this is probably the one that I feel the most confused about because, again, it's not one that I have as a clear diagnosis because I don't care to honestly, there's no cure. So I don't know if I want to actually go to a geneticist and actually have those answers. Now, I will say that there is one that is dangerous and life-threatening. For the most part, the rest of them, from what it's studied, it's pretty rare. And then all of the others, there's truly no treatment, at least from like a research standpoint. There's like the hypermobility piece. There's also vascular piece.
Is that like the commonality through all the types? Is it primarily
I'm not sure.
vascular?
I think that there's like a vascular specific one. And again, this is like something that I feel less informed by because of the fact that the way that I go about my symptoms is I kind of I identify with hypermobility because that is like the specific EDS trait that I fall into. And then the way that I help that is just by reducing my inflammation, trying to strengthen my joints with my 3-pound weights. And that's really how I've been able to kind of like stabilize that illness, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The other one that I want to mention is POTS, which my functional medicine doctor had said that it comes hand in hand with mast cell activation syndrome. And a lot of times you either present more mast cell or you present more POTS, but you can kind of have both. This is why I drink a lot of electrolytes, is because I believe that POTS is also more vascular and has to do with like your heart rate. A
Mm-hmm.
common symptom for POTS is like feeling fatigued, feeling unwell, fainting,
Feeling dizzy, dizzy
feeling
standing up,
dizzy.
dizzy walking up hills and stairs.
I feel like I present less POTS. Maddie, honestly, I feel like
I
you
present
present like,
heavily POTS.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is really interesting.
And remind me what POTS stands for. Do you know? I know it's
I
like
had,
posterior something. Postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome.
yeah, maybe say that into your mic.
Okay. Hold on, let me see it. Okay. Postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome is POTS. So it is an autoimmune disease that affects the nervous system, makes your heart rate increase, makes you lightheaded.
Yeah. A lot of these ailments fall under the umbrella of what's called dysautonomia. Basically, that's a dysregulation of your nervous system and all of like the automatic functions that happen without, like, you're not sitting here being like, digest my food, digest my food. Like, all of these systems are just running to keep you alive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically what is happening, is that there's such a dysregulation within the full body and it's presenting amongst multiple systems. So because
That makes
a lot of
sense.
systems overlap, that's why it can be really challenging to diagnose, because you could be having X, Y, and Z symptom thinking it's endometriosis, and when in reality it's completely something different, you know?
That's so frustrating.
So
But
frustrating.
helpful to know.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you're not crazy. This is just really complex.
Yeah.
And if you have one, you might have more. And that makes it confusing.
But I will say I'm in a weird way grateful that I've had this experience, because I really do feel like it's been able to open up my ability to relate with people. It's given me the ability to lean into something that I'm really passionate about. And I mean, honestly, this might sound really vain, but like, I just took you through all of that and I didn't do any research before. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, but the thing is you have done research.
but
You have
that's what
done
I'm
research
saying is like,
because it's a special interest, because it affects you, which is innately this psychosomatic connection.
yeah, and I feel like I'm just now dipping my toes into this, but I know that I'm going to be able to create a safe place for a lot of people, whether it's through this podcast, through people coming on my table. I was talking to actually one of my teachers the other day that I have to be really careful about the way that I take care of my body. I have to be really careful about what I eat, what I drink, how much energy I exert, how much sleep I get, what emotions I'm taking on from other people, because I want to live a good life. I want to live as close to a pain-free life as I can, and that has taken a lot of sacrifices as far as like
Mm-hmm.
what I'm able to maybe enjoy. But again, I've learned so much through this journey, and I really feel like a lot of it I'm meant to talk through this and even learn more and be able to like even better articulate myself. And I'm so excited to be able to learn more about anatomy and the body and
Like the
trauma and
science
how,
behind what you actually
yes,
know and feel in your body.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like that makes me so excited. And I'm excited to even just continue to share that on the pod of like my laundry list updates as I like learn
Yeah.
craniosacral therapy or learn a new modality or have like an experience with someone on my table, obviously, you know, anonymously, but share kind of what I'm seeing, because I genuinely feel like most women or I mean, most people are dysregulated, but especially because women have more complex hormones and we have not been researched to the degree that men have. There's just so many holes in which we are not able to regulate, meet our needs, ensure that we are not operating in this constant fight or flight.
Mm-hmm.
So I am so happy that I have this space. And I know the last 2 episodes, we've kind of gone from, you know, we're always going to integrate some humor because that's just who we are. But I know that this was like a little bit more of like a rapid fire, like, here we go.
No, it's really helpful. I think it's nice to have an introduction, even just for me, where you've talked to me about these things. I've done my own research. Having a general introduction to just how these overlap and the awareness that they exist is really
Yeah.
helpful. And I think sets the foundation for us and for our brains to
Yeah.
know that we can continually talk about this as time goes on. We don't have to be the experts for this to be a valid conversation. We are just sharing our experiences, and that isn't going to change as time goes on. If anything, we'll just have more information.
Exactly. Again, I talked about mindset, that I really believe that I'm only going to continue to get better and bring that into my practice so that other people can have the resources that I was able to find through this journey, and then, continuing to get better. It's a weird thing to be happy that you've struggled with chronic illness all your life. I think I'm getting to the point where I can accept that I know it's true in my body what I'm experiencing.
Yeah.
The invisible illness piece for the longest time, especially as a sensitive person with neurodivergence.
Again, invisible disability.
Yeah, it was really hard to navigate life being continually gaslighted and discredited. But now I feel like I know for a fact what I'm dealing with, and I'm confident that I can ensure people that they feel seen as well.
Thank you. I'm really grateful for all of your knowledge and your vulnerability and how you've really gotten into your body to understand what's going on. And I hope if anyone was listening and they feel any type of resonance, that they will feel like they can reach out to you as well, because you're
No,
happy
seriously.
to answer these questions for people, or to just have these conversations of you're not alone and you're not crazy, which I think women especially now more than ever continually need, right? Somebody who's going to say, hey, you're not crazy, even though this like world and the systems weren't set up for how you're made.
Yeah, I would love to be able to create even like a forum of just people like getting together or having just like a question and answer, so that again we can continue to just advocate and spread for the experiences that have been so real and true for us, because again, we know we're not the only ones that are going through these
Totally.
experiences, even though they can feel so fucking isolating in the moment,
Well, and if we don't talk about it, then we continue to feel isolated. And when we do talk about it, not only do we gain more empathy, but we gain more understanding. And that's all we really can do as a collective if we're trying to further progress, is be willing to individually share our experiences and have the optimism and hope that it's worth it to keep doing that, because there is hope on the horizon, rather than just retreating and existing in this solemn anger and pain and bitterness, which is valid. It's totally valid if you're feeling that way. I've been there.
It's a part of the journey.
It's a part of the journey. And also, at some point, being able to step out of that and say, this is fucking shitty. I have no answers and I feel terrible, and I'm still going to validate myself, and I'm going to let other people know that they're not alone. What else? What else can you ask for, sister?
Truly. I don't know why. Truly.
Thank you, Emily. That was so insightful, so helpful. I'm excited to
you.
keep diving into this in future episodes, and excited to honestly just keep learning more about my body and how to feel like my best self in my body, because I wasn't in my body for a lot of my life, and now that I am, I really want to take care of her.
I love that. And I hope that people listening feel that way as well, that they feel empowered by this episode, that they too can find the resources and have just the slightest bit of hope that they can honor their own bodies and just affirm what they're feeling.
Yeah, I hope so too. Thank you.
Okay, before we wrap things up, I want to know what our keyword is for next week. I'm so curious. Okay. It's all on you.
The theme for next week is Aries season.
Okay, I have to do some Googling, but I know it's a fire sign, so I'm already obsessed.
Let me just give you a couple things. Fire sign, first sign of the zodiac. So we're talking initiation, we're talking action, right? Aries is the god of war and also ruled by the planet Mars, also the planet of action. So there's a little bit of, delving into what Aries is, but
I feel like I need to order some like thigh-high leather boots.
I'm sweating.
Starts sweating.
I already am sweating, but that's not from your boots.
I'm gonna take this blazer off.
Yeah,
it's from my cups.
I'm about to pull all of my clothes off as soon as we end this.
Me too. Okay,
outfit theme for next week. Aries season. Take any creative liberties you'd like.
I did that this week, so I feel at this point that's the way that I'm going to approach these from here on out. And
perfect,
because it's our podcast and no one can fucking tell us anything else.
We want.
Yeah. But really, if you're still listening with us and you let me ramble some medical jargon to you and talk about my asshole, yeah. Thanks for being
Yeah.
here.
Mine too. We're just a couple of girls talking about our buttholes and hoping for the best.
Yeah, exactly. But we are so grateful that you are here and stick with us. Please remember to like,
Rate,
save,
send, subscribe,
subscribe,
review.
like. Did I say that?
I don't know if you did. Anything that is
Really,
gonna
any
help
engagement
keep-
is just
yeah.
really, really helpful.
Unless it's mean.
Yeah, honestly, I'd take a mean
Yeah,
comment.
that's true. Hit me.
Yeah,
I can
because
take it.
one of us is probably going to be in our follicular phase and can handle it.
So
Odds
true.
are. So even
I'll
if you
probably
have
be
a mean
ovulating
thing to
next week.
say, I appreciate the engagement.
Yeah, hit us. Hit me with your best shot, world. And that's all I gotta say.
All right, we love you
cousins.
guys. Bye.
Mwah. You did such a good job.
Thank you. I
I'm
feel
really,
good about
really
it.
proud of you.
Thank you. Gosh.